Well, good afternoon and welcome to Super League Raw, a special episode for all our Salford Red Devils supporters. Stef, what an incredible morning. We were on the phone when the news broke. So what we'll do, for those of you who are tuning in and thinking, what on earth is all this going? I do apologise. We're doing this on the fly. As you can see, there's things up on the screen that shouldn't be up, but hey, what can you do? We'll get rid of that in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to basically walk you through the statement that has been announced today in full. And then me and Steph will discuss what this means for Salford and what this means for the great game of rugby league as well. So Salford today broke the news this morning, went like this: they can confirm a change of ownership that secures the future of the club, subject to final Rugby Football League approval. Hopefully there's no issues there. Following extensive positive talks with stakeholders from the Community Benefit Society and Salford City Council, a consortium led by businessman Dario Berla, CEO of Milano, I believe that's how it's called, an investment bank that specialises in real estate investment, have completed a 100% full purchase of the club, which has been approved by CBS. Unbelievable. Chris Irwin, former Chief Commercial Officer at Salford Red Devils and more recently Exeter City Football Club, has been appointed as the club's new Chief Executive Officer. The new owners have cleared, this is big, cleared all current club debt and will deliver additional significant investment for the future growth of the club, with a process already underway to recruit a new internal management structure led by recruitment industry experts Kinsey Sears. Chris met with Paul Rowley, Kurt Hegarty, and the current men's first team squad earlier today at the Salford Community Stadium as they look to hit the ground running and share their long-term vision, which includes squad reinforcement. Hey, they've gone from a seller to a buyer, stadium redevelopment and club infrastructure. Due to timings, the club can confirm that there will be a selection restriction for this weekend's Challenge Cup third round fixture against Midlands Hurricanes, but this will be lifted ahead of the first fixture of the 2025 Betfred Super League season. Could be an advantage there for Midland. Dario Berta commented, I'd like to express my gratitude to Paul King and the existing team within the CBS who have led the club in recent years from celebrating its 150th anniversary, a Betfred Super League Grand Final and Challenge Cup Final, as well as navigating the club through tricky periods such as COVID. This is the start of a very bright and successful future for Salford Red Devils. I'm very proud to be involved, and with Chris at the helm, I feel like we have the perfect opportunity to build something special. Our focus and dedication now is to work together with stakeholders and fans to build sustainable success on and off the pitch for the long term. Paul Dennett, Salford City Mayor, added, I'm very happy to welcome Dario Berta to Salford and look forward to working closely together to see an exciting future for Salford Red Devils, building on the successes of the last 5 years. Salford Red Devils are rising. Massive news, this, Steph. Unbelievable news. And what I want to do, before we get into the detail of that statement, I'm sure you share with me, there's people behind this. You know, this has been a shocking winter for people associated with the Salford Red Devils, you know, the staff, etc., the players, you know, they've all got mortgages to pay. I absolutely am delighted for everybody associated with this club today. They can all breathe a massive sigh of relief. And the season ticket holders that haven't bought yet, you need to be buying your tickets. Steph, you've got to be delighted, mate.
Absolutely, none more so than for Paul Rowley, who's a friend of mine, a fellow Lather. Paul knows full well, as being a Lee lad, the struggles Lee have had over the years and how awful this is for everybody involved in the club. What a really bad situation it's been. We talked of selling the players, but like you rightly said, players have got mortgages and the backroom staff as well, but also the fans of Salford. I know how devastated that feeling is when you think there's no hope and whatever. And I think it's great in terms of the Super League Raw community. We put, your live out there not so long ago, Dave, as an instant reaction. And fans from every single club have saying how happy they are. There's no, bitterness or anything like that. Everyone's celebrating the fact that we look like we've got Salford back in a very strong position. But for me, the biggest thing in that statement is that they're going to clear the debt, because it's one thing someone coming in and buying the club for £1 and taking on debt. That's different. If they're going to go in and take away all their debt, which I believe is in north of £4 million, from what's been reported, that's massive. For Salford as a club, that enables them to now, like you rightly said in your thing there, go from a selling club to being a buying club. This could change the landscape of the league significantly, and that's for everybody involved in it and anybody who celebrates rugby league. This is huge news and one that we're all overjoyed with. And I would go as far as to say, I'm going to give him a shout out. Matt Timms, who's an absolute legend, he's took so much grief about the players being sold and that kind of thing in the group. I made up for you, mate, that this is looking so positive, and hopefully now you're getting the last laugh.
Yeah, Matt's comment there, he sees the Salford Reds rising. We absolutely do see the Salford Reds are rising. I mean, this is fantastic news for Salford in the long term. I mean, like you say, the fact that the debts have gone. Now it's over to the Salford Red Devils fans. Since they moved from the Willows, it has affected attendances. This is a landmark moment in your club's history. This is an opportunity now for you to go and build on, as it says in the statement, grand final appearances, Challenge Cup appearances, but not just to appear, to be competitive. I mean, the fact that they've stated that they're going to be looking for, reinforce the squad. This is the team that finished fourth last year. Everybody's been concerned. Were they going to have to lose their players? Well, now the players are there. We purposely, on Super League Raw Weekly, have left Salford until this week to review their squad because nobody knew what was going to happen. We will now be able to review Salford's squad next Tuesday live at 8 p.m. on Super League Raw Weekly. And of course, that will affect now where we're going to put them as a prediction. Because, we always do predictions the last weekly before the season kicks off. This now gives us a little bit of security in terms of we know what Salford we're getting. So in terms of the predictions, we're going to be able to predict it a little bit with a little bit more information and knowledge. The thing now for Salford, I mean, again, forgive me, we're doing this on the fly. From a quota spot perspective, I'm not quite sure where they're at. I think they might be full on quota spot, I'm guessing. But what they might look to do is, those players that are sub, 18 and upwards at other Super League clubs, now they can possibly go out there because let's remember, Salford have never, ever spent up to cap.
No.
So Salford have got a lot of cap space that they can go and fill. So now, actually, I'm going to say it, a player like Jack Farrimond at Wigan, who is behind Bevan French, he's behind Harry Smith, who's not going to be playing. All of a sudden, Salford could go there and say, yeah, son, 150k getting this team. Yeah, it could happen.
Absolutely. And I think the most exciting thing I think about this announcement is it's a clean slate for Salford. So they're the perennial overachievers, aren't they, Salford, with the limited budget they had. People forget this team finished fourth position in the league. Forget playoffs. We're on about consistency here for the whole 27 round. They finished fourth in the league with that limited budget. If they can now start to add players to that, and with what Paul does with those players already, I think it's so exciting. I'm absolutely buzzing. It sounds stupid as a Leaf fan, but we all want Salford to do well. We all want them. They're a stalwart announcer. Yeah, brilliant. Hey,
it could happen. Matty Timms, good lad. Yeah, do you know what? They've got the money and he's English. Actually.
What a difference a week makes. He's gone from selling Mark Sneed to signing brilliant, But I tell you what, there's going to be some sore heads tomorrow in Salford because those fans are going to be, who've been through that ringer, are going to be doing some celebrating tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, and what we love here at Super League Raw? We are a community. We say that all the time. You saw the website advertised before we went live, ladies and gentlemen. Get over to the website, go and have a look at what we're all about. Please go and do that. But, Matty, you're right. We've got a couple of Salford fans. Stephen Eachus is another one over in Ireland. We've got a few members here at Super League Raw that support Salford through thick and thin. Brilliant day for them. But also for the wider Super League. We want a competition, Stef, that is vibrant, that, nothing sells a sport better than jeopardy. Yeah. And I think what this does is we've seen the rise of KR, Warrington are thereabouts, Wigan are Wigan, Saints have reinforced. We've talked about Catalan this week on Weekly. I mean, again, they have gone from underachievers 2024 with the likes of Kiri and the likes, potential grand finalists. I mean, they are really going to punch this year as well. Now you've got Salford, and don't get me wrong, Salford can't wave a magic wand overnight. But what we do know about Salford is it finished fourth last year. So they have got a good side. They've reinforced with the like of Essen Masters. And we said on the phone earlier in terms of this season, the pack, I think, needs a bit of work, certainly in the 8 and 10 positions, I think. I know Chris Hill's gone there, but he's at the twilight of his career. He can add a lot of experience in terms of bringing on new forwards. We know Joe Bullock was picked up as well. So we know there's a bit, there's an opportunity there to strengthen the pack. But the contenders, I've put on, again, on our website today, we've reviewed Hull FC's chances. And in that article, I said that they're in the what if, who knows category. We don't know what's going to happen at Hull FC this season. There's a few teams like that. Catalan could go in there. Leeds could go in there. Salford are also in there. Who knows? I mean, anything can happen in the next 7 days, 2 weeks in terms of reinforcements. We know this is a competitive side already. But I think from Paul's perspective, he understood. Last year, he did incredibly well with a limited squad depth. This now gives Paul the opportunity in the here and now to add to his roster, get a bit of depth, get a bit of quality in there to try and kick on again. I mean, if this had been last year, for example, would they have lost Amir Bur to Hull FC? Probably not. There'd have been a lot of connotations with regards to that. But for me, as a rugby league fan, buzzing, absolutely buzzing that we've got great news. This is hung like a cloud over rugby league enthusiasts all winter long. It has. We've all been affected by it. We want our sport to be spoken about for the right reasons, not for these type of things. Today is a glorious day because those clouds have gone away. The sun has shone on not only Salford, but on the greater competition, the Super League itself. And in a roundabout way, I know I'm rambling, but I'm not excited. I'm absolutely buzzing for Salford. I'm absolutely buzzing for the competition. It's just a brilliant, brilliant day for rugby league. If they can go and strengthen the roster, they are in that who knows category. And Paul will have his sights again on top 6, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's kind of a bit of a pinch yourself with we said on live this week how good the adverts were by Sky, bringing the new season to a start. This is the icing on the cake for me in terms of positive news coming into the new season. But I think from my point of view, Dave, I think the biggest thing is the IMG stuff because Salford were obviously a B grade with a few of the other Super League teams. There's not many B grades now, but those B grade clubs have just been put on notice today because one thing that will happen with the IMG grading is Salford's financial score is going to improve significantly. So, and also if this positive news and good team performances start seeing their attendances creep up, again, this is going to impact their IMG rating. So I think there's going to be a couple of CEOs sat there at the moment thinking, what are we going to do about this? Because I think there'd be a few that presumed that Salford were in big trouble where now, within the blink of an eye, it's all just changed again.
Well, the thing is, Obviously Derek came out, didn't he? And and there was a few people speculating, who comes up. There's a lot of talk. Bradford was in talk. London, there was a lot of talk with the cloud over it all. Salford, we know from a viability point of view, scraped in this season. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that they're in that danger zone in terms of IMG scoring criteria. We know that other teams down in the championship, are moving in the right direction. It is bringing them on a little bit. But what this is going to, from an infrastructure perspective, we know Salford will score high. We know that. Financially now, we know they're going to score high. So there are going to be absolute benefits straight away to their IMG scoring for 2026. You couple that, as you quite rightly say, with if they again can go and strike well in terms of the competition itself again, all of a sudden Salford 2026 are Super League. And, like I say, we want the worst thing that could have happened, and I think everybody would have pulled together that it didn't, but imagine had Salford not completed their fixtures in 2025.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're so relieved, because what we want as fans of the rugby league as the absolute minimum is to the competition to be seen in the best light. That's what we all want. We all want these clubs to do well. I want every club to be an A grade. I want us to be able to expand to 14 teams. And what this does, this announcement today, secures the future of one of the most well-known and most spent the most seasons in Super League in Salford. What we need from them now is this fan buy-in, a bit like what Kukash did when he came in. in terms of getting that excitement going again. And, hopefully they'll start looking at things like the entertainment and other reasons to attend the fixtures rather than just the rugby, like the likes of OKR do. So that for me is where it needs to go now. The fans need to really get on board and realise what a fantastic opportunity this is, which I'm sure they will do.
I want to give a couple of shout outs, Stef. I mean, Austin Copley there. That's the first time I've seen Austin's name crop up. Austin, welcome to Super League Raw. Great point. It is an attractive place to go and live, Manchester. We've seen that with, the footballers as well as other people. So you're quite right. Manchester does have a massive draw in that respect. Bazza Kingston saying, what's wrong with Hull? Well, I'll leave that to people in terms of their travel plans, in terms of where they want to live. But the bottom line is, there's no doubt about it, it's always been a problem for Hull, getting players up to the northeast. There are hubs in Britain, Manchester, London, being the prime two, that people want to be in and around. That's just demographics for you. I think Austin's good. Austin, mate, if it's your first time here at Super League Raw, go and have a look at our website, www.superleagueraw.com. Matty Timms and Steve Eaches could do a new member that is a Salford Red Devils fan. Please do indeed get involved with that. Also, Paul Barmer, he's doing a bit of Erman's Hermits. Something tells him he's into something good. Paul's got Erman's Hermits on at full blast today. Well done to you, my friend. Outstanding effort. Well done and welcome as well to today's very, very special report. Like I say, great news articles over there on our website, and great competitions, a brilliant community we're building. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Go and check that out. Go and see what we're doing. We are making waves in the world of rugby league. Let me assure you of that. If you are now, let's just stick on this championship theme for a minute.
Yeah.
So, if you're Bradford Bulls, who are expected to go well this season, we've seen Bradford against Huddersfield, big game, massive game at the weekend against Castleford. That's going to be brilliant. I think from their perspective, they were probably maybe getting a bit giddy over this in terms of a window of opportunity. As delighted as we are for Salford today, I think it's only appropriate because we are impartial to spare a thought for maybe some clubs who are all of a sudden looking at making plans to make investments or whatever it may be to climb the charts to maybe replace Salford. That's going to be a very tough task now for them to achieve, isn't it?
Yes, but what I would say to that is if they were doing all that based on Salford potentially coming down, then they've kind of done a lot of the groundwork for what they actually need to do to get there anyway. So I would rather see those teams get there on merit than at the expense of a club going bankrupt or bust. So we're absolutely right. Some of these clubs in the Championship are doing some fantastic things, which is the whole point of IMG, to drive standards up. And like I said earlier on, I want every Super League club that's currently in Super League to get an A grade, and then we can start looking at the Championship clubs getting A grades to come in and expand the competition. Because all that's going to do, if those standards are going up and those targets are being met, then all of a sudden we should be going to Sky and say we want an uplift in our broadcasting rights. And if Sky won't meet that, then we need to be going out to the streaming services, to Amazon Prime, to Netflix, to Danzon, to whoever it is who are going to give us a deal that's worthy of this fantastic competition.
Spot on. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. That is what we want ultimately. We desperately need to get ourselves in a situation where we can demand more for what we know is the greatest product known to man. And we spoke at length during Weekly in terms of it's inspired what Sky have done, reference the NFL. And as I said to you, I think it was off camera, I will be absolutely devastated if that isn't all over the Super Bowl coverage this Sunday night. I don't watch the sport. I know it goes on for 10 hours. There's great opportunity there to get plenty of adverts and promotion in for rugby league. And I think the way they presented that in terms of the similarities between the two sports, hopefully that gets us more people watching. And what we all know as rugby league supporters is that when you watch a game of rugby league, especially if you like NFL, which has got so many similarities, once you go and watch your first game of rugby league, you're hooked and you're staying, aren't you?
Absolutely. And it was great in that advert they actually used the presenters from the UK NFL when they did the broadcasts over here to link that in. And I would be amazed because of that if they didn't use that opportunity to upsell it at the halftime or whatever within the NFL game. But yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm so happy, and this is probably the difference between us and other sports. In that, yes, we have rivalries. Yes, we have banter with other things and stuff like that. But I think the majority of rugby league fans are going to be absolutely delighted with this news today.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. What we're going to do is we're going to take some questions. If anybody's got questions, reference the Salford takeover today or anything else. Castleford, what does this mean for Castleford? Castleford's has been delayed. We know that. They've said that through due diligence, there's certain things they need to iron out. So even though I think there's no threat of Castleford not fulfilling 2025, that they're a long way from that. But in terms of their short term to medium term Super League viability, what does it all of a sudden now? Salford are home and dry. Now the attention, we know Wakey are coming up. They've got a financial backer. They're secure. So all of a sudden Huddersfield, Castleford. I mean, Ken Davies still there, of course, for Huddersfield, but Castleford now. Again, if we've got anybody watching from Castleford, are you concerned this afternoon?
The Castleford are A grade though, haven't they? So it's if they can improve slightly on league position this year, then they should still maintain their A grade.
But again, Salford are going to go up the charts. Huddersfield again is a case in point. But like I say, these other clubs that are on the cusp and are not maybe has got these backers. What does it mean for them? Great question. Whilst you're getting some, get us some, get in the chat. Give us any questions that you've got, your comments. We'll come back and discuss them. But for those people who are new to Super League Raw this evening, yes, we have a membership. Yes, we are going places in the world of rugby league. And what we do is we give, we're doing some great stuff in the community and some great competitions. Here is an example. There is just nothing like the Challenge Cup final. Today, Super League Raw announced our biggest competition ever. Regardless of which two teams will be playing, Super League Raw will be there with our members to celebrate an epic day of rugby league at the home of British sports. Join the Super League Raw family at the Challenge Cup final on the 7th of June at Club Wembley. All members are automatically included as per their membership. But if you want your chance of being at Club Wembley on the 7th of June 2025, then get over to our website where tickets are just £2 to enter this prize draw. And perhaps the best news is that you will be supporting grassroots rugby league through Super League Raw in 2025. So don't hesitate. Buy your ticket now, support local rugby league, and maybe we will see you at the Challenge Cup final in Club Wembley. Super League Raw, it just keeps getting better. So that was a competition that we launched this Tuesday, and I have to say people are getting involved in that. And as it says, it's our opportunity to look after some amateur sides and to really do well. So like I say, big opportunity there for you to go and support that. Again, all the details are on the website, which is great. In the chat, Aidan Simpson saying Huddersfield is safe because Davey will leave money long term. You're right. He's looking for a legacy there in terms of the new stadium. But like I say, what this has done today is it's taken them above. I don't know where the graphic is. Can you remember who the grade Bs were? I'm trying to remember who they were.
Huddersfield, Hull FC, and Salford.
So I mean, so again, in terms of that, we know Hull FC, they haven't cleared the debt. So from a financial perspective, we know Hull FC.
But this is where, on your point on Huddersfield, Ken Davey can have all the money in the world if they've not got the fandom, if they've not got the bums on seats, if they're not finishing high enough in the league, they could find themselves at risk. Financial backer doesn't guarantee IMG A grade.
No, and that is a concern, isn't it? I'm trying to quickly find this now on the fly, if I can, in terms of who got what points. So let's have a quick look. Let's see how far they are. So yeah, actually, Hull FC 2.85. That's the separate one, doesn't it?
Hull FC just missed out on an A grade, but while you're looking for it, I'll answer the Hull FC sort of stuff in terms of their takeover. I've not seen anywhere that Hull FC have cleared their debts, which I
Oh,
believe is the big difference between this and the Salford takeover. Now, they may well have done, but they've not announced that as Salford have done.
no.
So, in terms of their balance sheet and IMG scoring, if Hull FC haven't done that, then they're going to get a worse financial score than Salford now in terms of their IMG points.
Yeah, I'm just looking down the list now as we speak. So in terms of Hull FC, no, Hull FC, it says here, grade B, 14.51 is what they got, 14.51. Castleford Tigers 9th with a grade A. So grade A is 9 and above. 10th on the list was Hull FC with a grade of 14.51. Then came the Huddersfield Giants with 14.48, again a grade B. And then last but not least was Salford with 13.97 is what they got. Not quite sure. Behind them, London's Broncos were at 12.65, so they were a long, long way back. To lose 13.58. So like I say, Salford we know are going to increase. The two now that drop down the pecking order, which we know they're going to drop down the pecking order a little bit, will be FC and Huddersfield. So you're right. I mean, I think Huddersfield, because of the fandom, because of the books, it is a problem. But again, as rugby league purists, because that's what we are, we'd like to see something happen at Huddersfield that's happened at Salford today. We want these clubs to be the best they can be, because like Salford hardcore supporters, there's nothing better than the Cowbell Army. The Cowbell Army guys are a top draw.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest way that the fans can have an impact on that, not only just from the behalf of getting behind your team, but things like the attendances really matter now. This is so important, and Salford are going to get a big boost on their financial thing for the next round of IMG points, which is the end of the season. But what the Salford fans need to do as well is get out and support this club now. It's such a good opportunity to have the slate wiped clean. It's massive in rugby league. I kind of had to look at it again and read the statement again when I saw that was actually happening, because I was always confident that there would be someone or some form of consortium or someone would come in and buy the club. But I always thought that they would be taking on that debt as well if they were going to do that. So that's the biggest thing for me, that they've cleared that debt. But hopefully what we can see now is a reaction from these B grade clubs, and also the ones that only just got an A, because Wakefield will slip down slightly because they won't get the credit for their championship winning season, as in the 0.25 they get for that, and also the 1895 or whatever it is. Those things obviously will go off their league position this year, so they're going to lose a couple of points. So what we need now is these clubs that were on the fringes of just in or just out, and I include Lee in that as well, because Lee were only just above the 15 as well. Is we need to get out and support these clubs. You can have a direct impact on your club's IMG rating, and it's so important now for every club that fans buy into it and get involved in the social media side of things as well, because that's another key category in terms of their presence online, how many shares they're getting, how many views they're getting on the websites. All that kind of stuff is massive. So I implore all fans of those clubs, like I say, including the likes of Castleford, Lee, all the ones that scraped an A this time, you need to get sharing, you need to get doing your part to back your club.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. There is a QR code at the top there if you want to go and have a look at our membership packages. Like I say, for the price of a latte a month, that's one latte a month. You can be a part of the greatest community, the fastest growing community in rugby league. Chris Seedhouse, good evening, good afternoon. I always say good evening. I'm just used to saying good evening. Good afternoon to you. He's asking us a question there in terms of if we were in the hierarchy of Salford, what would we be prioritising first? Of course, we know they've got the academy, and again, as with Lee, I'm sure they are now going to be out. Well, look at it this way. I think where the academy are concerned, I don't think that... Is that a priority? Yes, it is. It's just been made a lot easier. Because if you're a young player and you're approached by Salford, unlike some other clubs, there is a financial certainty now about Salford. So as an up-and-coming player who's looking for a professional contract, if you have got a choice between Salford and a team, I'm sorry, Castleford fans, and I'm sorry, Huddersfield fans, and I don't mean this personally, I'm just talking facts. If you're looking at, a choice between going over the Pennines to Huddersfield or going to Salford, then Salford's where you're going, because all the boxes are ticked. You've got a real opportunity there, and I think the fact that is there now to persuade. Of course, Paul Rowley's there. We know Paul's a great man, and he does a great job. Got very charismatic, so he can, I'm sure, convince anybody to go and join the rising Red Devils. That's great for the academy. So I think that takes care of itself, if I'm being honest. Then there's this question over where do you put your money first. Salford are not York City, are not York Knights. They're not. They have to prioritise. For me, Stef, the first team. They have to. That is their bread and butter. If they're going to get fans in, the women's game builds off the men's game. That's what you've got to fill the men's game. You've got to get some sort of something going in your men's sport, and then introduce the women's game, which is what other teams are doing. And then hopefully what you get is a vibrant women's game. That's my take on it. Is what I would say. I think what Salford, if I like, let's play Championship Manager. I don't know how much. I genuinely don't know how much cap space they've got. I don't. For me, they could go to any up and coming superstar today. We've just seen what Wiggins done with the two lads from St Helens. Brought them over for 2026. Of course, great news for Saints fans, Noah Stevens. I think they've retained the cream of the crop there, by the way. Saints fans will be very, very happy that Noah Stevens has been retained. I think he's going to have a sensational season. Yeah. Now, I look at my own team. You'll look at your team. Bailey Hodgson, as we saw, brilliant player. He's probably going to get a shot, I would say, Bailey. So I think from a league perspective, they're all right. I think they're pretty secure. Warrington, there are a couple of players on the fringes. So, and Warrington wouldn't want to lose them the same way that Saints didn't want to lose their young players. But the facts of the matter is this. If Salford come in and offer these young kids a contract on the cap that Warrington, Wigan, Saints, at this moment in time, cannot match or do not see them at that value. We've seen Hull FC do this. Hull FC have done this in the first team this year. They paid mega bucks for players to starve off other teams. That's what they've done. If Salford were to do that, so if I'm the Salford owner, I'm looking at medium to long term. At the end of the day, they're in a decent spot. You've got to have one eye on the future, not just today. I think they've got already bags of experience. For me, do they need more experience? Probably in that front, the prop forward position. I think a little bit of extra strength there, yeah. Backs are perfectly fine. They'll be gutted they lost Ollie Partington now as well. That's another story. But, I think they're okay in those positions. I think Nikarima, that they brought in to partner Mark Sneed, I think that could be a really good partnership this season. I think across the back line, it's a bags of riches. They've got enough experience. If I'm the owner of Salford Red Devils today, I'm looking at those 18 to 22-year-olds that have just got quality written all over them. And I will be testing them. I'd be testing their resolve in terms of, do they want to stay or do they want to go? And, of course, if Salford play the game of, we're going to give you opportunities, lads, that you're not going to get this season or next season, would people go? That's where I prioritise it. Steph, what would you do?
My number one priority, I would build another road out of that stadium so you can get off the car park in under an hour and a half. That would be
spoken as a true away supporter.
Yeah, that would be my. But I mean, joking aside, my priority, and I mean this completely genuine, and it does. I was joking with that, obviously, but they've got to increase the fan experience of the game. Number one issue at Salford at the moment is not the team. The team finished fourth. And that team they've got now could finish fourth again this season, well within the possibilities, especially with the feel-good factor that is now going to be injected into that club. Salford have got to improve the fan experience. Whatever it is they need to do, they need to get people in that ground. And it's not the team. The team's playing good enough rugby. So they've got to produce other stuff that's going to make people come. And everything will come off the back of that. And it's like Adrian Lamb says, winning takes care of everything. So they've got a team that's been able to do that. What they now need to do is get the fans in there to support them, bring in the financial revenue. And then everything else, what you were just talking about, comes off the back of that. And I will use, yes, Lee are my club, but I will use it as a prime example. Lee didn't go out straight away and get an elite academy and get a women's team and get a wheelchair side and do all this nice stuff. They got the things right on the pitch first and foremost with the rebrand and the new team, and then winning took care of the rest of it. They've grown from 1,500 members. I think it was 2,200. I think the first year in Super League to a membership approaching 7,000. So anybody that says it can't be done at Salford is not looking at it in terms of half full rather than half empty. So it can be done. You've got to grow this fan base, and then obviously that brings revenue, brings all sorts of other opportunities. So then where you can go into the niceties of bringing your women's team in, growing your elite academy, having your wheelchair team, all this other stuff comes off the back of the club's whole success. So they've got to focus on that fandom. They've got to grow it. And then obviously we can then start to look at all the other good stuff that comes with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl there talking about the fan base. Matty Timms, Salford fan, he wants the marketing team to really market the club, and he says one big signing, market it hard, and that reaps the reward. Maddie, 2013, new and welcome to Super League Raw. Maddie, she's disappointed with the Manchester Evening News. A lot of coverage of City and United, of course. Rugby League, not getting the coverage that it deserves. Couldn't agree with you more. And again, that's about getting the buzz. I mean, we've seen this at Lee. I mean, one thing that Lee has got right is the fear of missing out. I mean, that is something that they have just done incredibly well over the last 4 years, to the point where now it really is standing room only. The whole town is buzzing about Lee. Win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter. It's an event. You've got to be there. That's what Salford have got to create. I think the road network is a great point that Stef makes. The road network, the ease of access. Matt Tim says there are plans to get the tram going that way. That would be a massive, massive step in the right direction if they got that bit right. Of course it would. But yeah, we want a Salford Red Devils that is imposing. We want those fans to increase and to grow. And again, make it more of a spectacle. That's the problem. When Sky go to Huddersfield, when they go to Salford, the viewing public nobody's watching it.
No,
that's how it looks. Nobody's watching it because in these two grounds, the cameras are on the side of the stand that's full. So so the other stands are all empty, and and that's what was so good in the first playoff match last year when Lee really did support Salford as hard as they could. Took a great following. It was a great night as well. Really good night, not for Salford in terms of on the field, but in terms of to see that ground, the Salford Community Stadium, with that many people in attendance. Yeah. It was a joyful moment for me. Of course, I was totally impartial that night. None of my teams were playing. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm just taking it all in. And I'm thinking, what a wonderful night for Salford Red Devils. And if only we could reproduce this on a regular basis at that ground, because, it's a wonderful facility. It's a great facility. We know Salford play an attractive brand of rugby league. It's a great place to go and watch your rugby league. For me, pray to God now. This is the start now where they can go and do what the likes of Wakey, KR, Lee have done in the recent past, where they're going to build a fan base, that they're going to put, really get that local community thriving and wanting to be a part of something that is truly tremendous, which we know our sport is, and we take it forward. What a day! What a day! I'm as you say, this is what makes rugby league different.
Absolutely.
I think giddy as a child in a sweet shop, when I am, because Salford Red Devils are rising and it's improving our competition.
100%, mate. And I think just on the point there of what the question was in terms of the Manchester Evening News, my answer to that would be: forget Manchester Evening News. Print media is dead. It's non-existent anymore. True. It's completely irrelevant.
Join us. Yeah, that's where you need to be. Join us. We're doing the job.
100%. And what Salford need to do is they need to get into that marketing database of all the 8,000 people that came to that league game, because there was the majority of Salford fans, and be marketed to those people. We know they can do it. They've proven that they can do it, but it just has to be not for a one-off game. It needs to be that it's, like you say, the fear of missing out. Everything's going for Salford now. With this news today, with the position where they finished last season, with the team that they've got, they're saying about bringing superstars in. They've got superstars in that team. Yeah. They've got Mark Sneed. They've got Nene McDonald. They've just brought us a Masters in. It's littered. Salford need to now not look at what other people can do for them. It's what they can do for everybody else in terms of their own marketing.
Hey, bring it out. one of the most famous presidents ever. Oh, let's go to the moon. Go on, lad, Stef. That's what we're talking about. Actually, let's go to Mars. It's red. Oh, that's what we want. A bit of ambition, beautiful stuff. I love it, mate. I love it. And you're right. This is why don't, if you go and buy anything else, don't become a member of Super League Raw. Brilliant competitions, live shows. We've got shows that we're only going to be showing for members this year. This is where it's at. And you know what? Because we've gone there, let's go there. I'll tell you where Super League Raw's at. I'm going to tell you right now. This is off the press as of today. Okay? This is great news for us here at Super League Raw. We announced new shows for our members on Super League Raw Weekly on Tuesday night. One of them being the Captain's Run. Next Thursday, a brand new show. The Captain's Run is going to be on the best build-up to each and every week's fixtures. We said it was going to be 6 o'clock. That is going to change. It's going to have to change to 7, and it's probably going to be pre-recorded and not live. And this is why. It's because yours truly has been invited onto BBC Leeds to discuss the 4 Yorkshire clubs with James Dayton. That's where Super League Raw's at. That invitation come my way today. So 6 till 7 a week next Thursday, yours truly representing Super League Raw, our community, will be on BBC Leeds with James Dayton talking Super League live on the BBC. That's where Super League Raw is at. That invitation came today. So again, another monumental day for Super League Raw. The website's up and running. The membership is growing. The competitions are getting better. The only place you need to be, and the good thing about Super League Raw, no clickbait. If it ain't a story, we don't write it. Simple as that. We go for quality over quantity. We'll only probably put 2-3 news stories out a day, if that. If that. Because unless it's a story like this one, we're not interested. We don't do gossip. We don't do any of that. And the other good thing about Super League Raw, it's a safe space. We have young children that join us with their parents as well. We don't swear. We keep it respectful. We debate like adults. It's a brilliant place to be. And we go to grand finals together, Magic Weekend together. We share lifts to grounds together. We do loads of great stuff. So Stef is absolutely right. If you plow your money into anything this year over and above your clubs, this is the place to be. We're only going one way, and it's up. So please do join us. Absolutely outstanding. Right, we could keep going. I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat, see if anything's caught our eyes. Baz's eyes have just wowed open. As expected, the members are delighted that Super League are on BBC Leeds on Thursday night. I wonder what they'll be listening to at 6 o'clock next Thursday when I go on there as well. So yeah, and again, it's a great thing for us and for the entire community. It really, really is. So like I say, the Captain's Run will be there. It just probably will be pre-recorded on Thursday this week because of that. But hey, I don't think anybody will hold that against us. Next up, GMR, Greater Manchester. We'll sort it out for you. Who needs Man United and City in the GMR borough of the BBC? Who knows? We might get an invite to go on their show as well.
You're doing such a good job, Dave. They're getting a Lancashire lad talking Manchester, Yorkshire rugby. So it just goes to show the impact you're having there. But no, to put that into context for everybody, where Super League Raw's come from in terms of 2 lads, in terms of yourself and Reggie, just doing a weekly show one-off, to now the amount of content this channel is producing, but also to getting notoriety within things like institutions like the BBC. Is absolutely phenomenal, and it just goes to show, the impartiality, the actual love and respect we have for this game, that we do sell it in its best light, and we're also straight onto things like this when monumental things happen in the sport. Within an hour of it coming out, we're on a live stream giving everybody our thoughts and opinions on it. So I don't think there's many others doing what we're doing, mate.
And that's the point. There's been a lot of speculation over Salford, and I think even in our weekly shows, we have really played it down. We haven't really gone there. We just wanted it finished with. We just wanted it done one way or the other. There's been too much speculation, far too much speculation on Salford Red Devils. And today, when the club announced the reality, Super League Raw go, because that's what we do. We go at the time when it's a fact, when it's a reality. We leave the clickbait and the rumour to plenty of other people. Good luck to them. That's what they do. Good luck to them. We just decide to be different. We're just different. And And we're very proud of that.
The thing for me is that as fans, we're as guilty for this as anything. We always look at the negatives.
Yeah.
Whereas the biggest thing and the reason why I came into Super League Raw was the upselling the game. Let's look at the positives, and it's a bit like I was saying about Salford there in terms of doing it themselves. They've got to go out there now and shout from the rooftops. The Salford Red Devils are back. We're rising again. And this is where you market it. It's a marketeer's dream. This for me. And if they get the right people in, like I said, they've proven they've got that fan base there. They've got at least 7,000, at least, that should be going to these games. So make it attractive for people. Make the experience a really, really positive one when you do eventually get them into the ground, and they will come back because we all know this is the greatest sport in the world to watch live.
100%. Of course, it's not nine sleeps to go. We're well below that now. But like I say, the captain's run, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be happening. That's going to be a fantastic show. Like I say, the best possible build-up, interviews from around the grounds. We're going to be doing it bigger and better, but you have to be a Six Again or a Team Talk member in order to get that show. So, you really do need to make sure that you check that one out and that you become a part of that. It's going to be a great show. We've also got another show that we're going to be doing on a Monday, which is called Unpacked, Weekend Unpacked, where again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically bringing that weekend to a close. We're going to be, again, going through all the stats, all the main talking points to bring that particular weekend to a close. And, of course, then we will start the build-up to the brand new round of Super League, starting on Super League Raw Weekly on the Tuesday night. So, like I say, we're doing things this season that we didn't do last season, bigger and badder than ever. And for those of you who missed
Salford Red Devils fans, do you love your rugby league? We love our rugby league. I hear the Salford Reds are rising. I hear definitely trouble on the way. Salford Red Devils have been bought out. The debt is cleared. They've gone from a selling club to a buying club. This is monumental for the city of Salford. All of a sudden, this would mean that they are going to be contenders of the future. The Super League competition has just got better and stronger. This is wonderful news for all those people associated with the Salford Red Devils who have gone through the ringer during the course of this winter. All of the uncertainty has now passed. They can sail away into the future on the good ship Salford Red Devils. We wish them nothing but the very, very best of luck, our friends there at the Salford Red Devils. What a brilliant day this is for Super League. The season just a week away, and brilliant news this Friday. You Salford Red Devils fans, you enjoy your weekend. We will. All the best.
And the lad's not even a Salford fan. You know what I'm saying? That's passion. That's what we are about. That's instant reaction that we put out when breaking news stories go. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do support Stef. Again, my foil has agreed to do this at a moment's notice, mate. I couldn't do it without you. You Salford Red Devils fans, I don't know what you drink. The finest vino, gin and tonic, the finest single malt whiskey, whatever it is, do yourselves a favour when you get home from work. Put your feet up, get your pinky out, and savour every single drop of success that I believe is possibly on the horizon for you. You've got some big teams to topple, but all of a sudden, that could become a big reality. From me and Stef, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and we will catch you for another special when one is required. Bye for now, everyone.